What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fi here. Sheets is out today and tomorrow as well, but happy to have you with us. When you get on in, say hello, say what's up, ask any questions, give us the like, all that stuff. Also, did want to mention, look, our memberships, realistically, they're going to be going up at some point in the near future. I did want to just let everybody know that we've been doing really, really well, and hopefully, you guys check it out. We've got all the stuff that you can add from SaberSim, as well as all of my content, my exact exposures, all my cores, all my bets, basically exactly who I'm playing, and everything Sheets has, all his projections, which have been just the nuts for the last 2 years, as well as Goldies, as well as Brandon Cruz, as well as Adam Perry for NHL and a bunch of other sports. We got a lot of stuff going on over here, and we hope that you guys will take a look at joining us. We also do currently, for a very limited time, have the 1099 3-day package. With the Super Bowl coming up, might be a good time to check that out. You can check out everything that's on the Ultimate and decide if you want to keep going, because we got some great stuff here and would love for you guys to be a part of it. So good to see y'all. We're going to keep these shows a little bit shorter, especially when I'm going solo, because I am going to, as I did last night, we're going to be sharing stuff through the Discord for the premium members only. I don't want to give everything away on these shows. It feels a little bit irresponsible to do that to our subscribers. So want to do a lot more stuff in the Discord, the live Discord, as well as just, premium videos and all that stuff. We also have a lot of training tools that you guys can hopefully find useful. So with that said, let's get into it. I got my screen up here shared, and good to see you in here, MJ, as always. And let's go through it. Look, I'm still going to mess with what my cores are. This is just an early version of it. I'm going to put them off to the right for now because I don't know for sure what they're going to end up. I'm letting the system kind of run today a little bit more than I usually do. I've made changes to certain players. I changed the projection, as you can see on this screen. You can see I changed Christian Braun's projection a little bit higher because I wanted more exposure. And that's where I'm at. So I'm going to end up rerunning these things. These are just preliminary looks. But I did want to just talk through the slate, and we'll go game by game and just sort of say what we're looking out for. Starting off with the Dallas, look, it's actually raised Kyrie's up to here. I originally was trying to go 4 points over on Kyrie. I'm going to make it 46. I do want to be overweight the Kyrie play today. So I'm going to manually change that one. Like getting to some Gafford. I don't have an issue with any of the other plays. They probably would need another body to try and make this game competitive. I think you could talk about maybe X amount of minutes limit. I think you could talk about Najee Marshall. But for me, it's mostly going to be Kyrie and Gafford at the moment. On the Boston side, with obviously no Drew Holiday, we're going to be getting to a decent amount of Peyton Pritchard today, and he would be my preferred guy to target. But I do like that price on Horford as well. We know that there's a bus path there, and it is the first games. We might get late information just because who knows what's happening. Sometimes in the deadline, you end up with people like who end up getting traded that you didn't expect. Guys get held out of a game or get announced as questionable, and it turns out they're finalizing a trade from earlier. So just keep it in mind for today. Fortunately, we don't have a ton of games to go through to deal with, but I think it's important just to be aware that not everything is finalized, even though the deadline is officially over. We've seen it happen a million times. And by the way, all but 4 teams traded players this deadline. This was a wild deadline. It's totally different. Love it for my Lakers, obviously. I really like what the Cavs did today. I know some people are questioning it, but I thought it was a really good move to get DeAndre Hunter. Just because they're trying to beat Boston. You want as much wing defense as you possibly can have. So really, really like what they've got going over there in Atlanta. I'm sorry, in Cleveland. All right, but mainly it's going to be Pritchard, Horford, and Porzingis for me. I don't mind the idea of getting to some more Derek White. I don't think it's necessarily as big of a boost as you might think, because Pritchard's going to actually a higher usage player. Which you could say make the same case for Jaylen Brown or Tatum. If I got to them, no problem, but I currently didn't on my first runs, and we'll go through FanDuel after we do DraftKings. I would like to get more of Amin Thompson than I was, so you can see I changed his projection. I know that's maybe not a realistic median, but I want that as a median so I can make sure to force him into more of my lineups. Do like Tari Eason. If I end up with some Dylan Brooks, I'm not going to feel bad about it, but I'm not going out of my way actively. I actually think I'm going to make just a small change, nothing big, but I'm just going to make a small change in the positive direction for both Green and Şengün. I feel like it's being overlooked that Van Vliet is not playing, and these guys are not quite getting the projections they deserve. So just bump them up a little bit. If I end up getting to some of them, so be it. I'm not like desperately trying to get guys against Minnesota in general. All right. Love Nas Reed. I did bump in Edwards even after the 49-point game last night. You do have a tough competitive game at home, which is usually the big time for Edwards. So I do like that play. Would have no issue getting to anyone else, including Dillingham, but not going out of my way to do so. On the Orlando Denver side, really it's just Paolo or nothing for me at the moment. I think Denver's gonna win this game pretty handily, to be honest with you. I did have that as one of my bets. I did post my bets earlier, but just I'll give that one away for free. There's one other bet that I felt like was really obvious, and it's been paying off huge for me. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Banchero is really the only one I could justify getting to from Orlando. Wouldn't hate if you got to anybody else, but just not trying to. As I mentioned, I did bump up Christian Braun's projection, so I'm going to be over the field on him for sure. Michael Porter Jr. after the big game, and I don't like this projection of Jokic, so I'm just going to make it again. Nothing crazy, but I'm just bumping it up a few points. And I think this projection's a little bit low on Strother with Murray and Gordon questionable, and I just want to be ahead of that because the game starts at 6. So I'm going to probably bump those guys up to where I get a decent percentage of them. If I have to shift around later, so be it. But as of right now, I definitely want some exposure to those guys. So I'm going to bump their projections up just a little bit as well. Going over to Golden State in LA, obviously this is where you're getting the bulk of your value. Oddly, didn't get to much post, but I got to a ton of Podziemski, a ton of Healed, probably more Looney than I should. I'm actually going to drop this projection a tiny bit. I think there's a lot of variance with their bigs, especially against the Lakers, who are going to be playing tonight without a true big. And I feel like, okay, I'll just make it an even 44 for Curry, but nothing crazy going on there. Draymond on the back-to-back, who we thought was not going to play, now is supposed to play. We still have Moody questionable, Peyton questionable, Santos questionable. So it's a later game. Maybe bumping these guys up a little bit and then pivoting is a better way to go. We can do the pivots before the Denver game, because in case Gordon and Murray are out, that'll open up some more. We already have Westbrook out in that game, so. And I'll just make Gary Payton just a little bit more of a reasonable number to where I maybe get a little bit of exposure. Santos, I don't think I'd get to anyway, but you might end up getting to some Pat Spencer if you lose. Earlier in the day when we thought we were going to lose Draymond and Trace Jackson Davis, I thought if all 4 of those guys are out, then Pat Spencer would actually be in play, oddly enough. But as it stands, not getting to any of it right now. I'm going to take my core buttons off because I'm not going to be doing it anymore. I already posted my early core, and that's as far as I can go with cores, because we know NBA, the late breaking news happens fast. It comes at you quickly, and you got to be ready to pivot. So the Lakers side of things, I'm still below the field on Finney Smith. I actually want to bump this down a tiny bit. The only thing is it's a later game. I just don't think that's it. I think it's hard to ever project any fantasy points from him. I feel similarly about Vanderbilt, and I feel like these are speculative. The one I want to bump up, though, is Jackson Hayes. I think Jackson Hayes actually has a pretty decent ceiling here. I'm just going to refresh this real quick, and then we'll go back to it. I think Jackson Hayes has a reasonable ceiling, and I'm just going to try and see what happens if I make him 25 instead of the 23.3. LeBron, I also feel like maybe slightly under projected, and I will make that just a little bit higher. Nothing crazy. As well as Austin Reeves with his last chance to sort of shine one of his last chances to shine before Luka and all that. Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton. I thought I was going to be getting to more Shake earlier today. I'm going to make him 16 just in case. It's not much of a difference, 0.23, but I think it's reasonable to maybe take a shot there. Sacramento and Portland. This is, again, I'm not giving away all my bets, but I am betting Portland. They've done it. We've seen this so many times lately. They're underdogs every game. They win every game. Portland's the hottest team in the NBA. They've won 9 out of 10. I really like Portland. I'm just going to keep betting it. If it doesn't happen tonight, so what? It's already made me plenty of money, but I'm going to keep rolling with it. Feel the projections are pretty good on Sacramento side. I'm going to get to a lot of Sabonis. I like the Keegan Murray play too. It's a little more speculative, but I do think that he's going to have more upside now. I think they're really trying to figure out what they have going forward. So those are my main 2. Didn't get to much Levine or Monk, not only playing 36 lineups on DraftKings. I'll get to them a little bit on FanDuel. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's sort of where I'm at over there. And on the Portland side, because, look, they've been balanced. They've had a lot of they're fairly deep. I thought there would be a chance somebody would be traded, but maybe they're rolling a little too well to trade anybody. So Avdia is the most interest, followed by Ayton for me. And then I don't mind getting to any of these other guys, but certainly not going out of my way to try to do so. On the Indy Clippers game, it's been really a painful watch. It was really rough the other night with Halliburton. I feel like this is a bounce back spot. It's just not a great matchup. I still think I want to bump his projection up just a little bit. We know the ceiling is extremely high. I'll take a little gamble there. And again, in later games, I'm more likely to bump players up because just by nature, I'm going to do it actually with all these guys. You're going to get late news more often than not in the NBA, and you'll be playing from ahead the more guys you have and the later the games are, because you can always late swap. And if you're not late swapping, you're not giving yourself a fair chance. All right, I bumped up Zubac quite a bit. Really like Zubac in any matchup. I think that he has. I mean, look, he's kind of boom or bust. They got killed the other night by the Lakers, so I'm not upset that I played him. Assuming the games stay close, I really like Zubac. I just think that he gets yeah, his median might be 37, but he's got plenty of 55 pluses on his track, and he never gets played nearly to where I feel like he should be. On this slate, I really like him. Kawhi, reasonable price. We've got him up to what minutes wise? We got him up to 28 minutes almost. He's gonna once he hits that 32-minute mark, this is gonna be like stealing money. But 28 minutes still plenty of minutes for 6,800. Harden and Powell, because the matchup, are not going to go off my list either. We did lose, there's no Kevin Porter Jr. anymore. Chris Dunn is not the worst value play. In fact, I'm actually going to bump up Dunn manually a little bit, just because I think there's maybe a little bit more upside than he's being projected for. Should be on the court plenty. Oops, did not work. And I'll rerun and sort of see where I'm at with this when I'm done. All right, let's take a look. MJ says, let's get this money tonight. Fellas, been listening to morning. Hey, thanks a lot, Robert. Appreciate the kind words. Are you playing anyone from Dallas? I went through all my Dallas, so that was probably an old question. Let's get this money. I've been listening. Great show. Thank you. Stars and scrubs are balanced tonight. It's not really either, to be honest with you. First of all, the one real star we have, on this slate, we don't have Giannis. We don't have, whatever you want to call Embiid now. We don't obviously have Luka. So I don't think you have to think about it as a stars and scrubs exactly. You do have plenty of value, but not screaming value. It's not the 9-10Xs we've been seeing. So I'm finding myself a little bit more in the balancey range, but I am I'd like to be overweight Jokic, and I'd like to be overweight Edwards in general, for what it's worth. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, man. Naz Reid as a question mark. Yes, I do like Naz Reid. You got to deal with variance with him in general, and I don't usually play him as chalk. But without Randall, it's just too hard to deny. The ceiling is too high, and I don't want to say the floor is too high, because I don't think it is at 6,300. But I do think that he can smash this price plenty of the time. So I'm okay with being sort of near the field with Naz Reid personally. That's how I'm looking at it. Guys, get the likes up, and Max Christie with a question mark. Did not even cross my mind for half a second. No. If you want to do it, go ahead. I'm not doing it. I do think he might play more of a role than he's being projected for, but they've got other bodies at similar positions, and he played great in the last game. Maybe he gets a boost, but he's 5K. No Max Christie for me. If it was a later game, I'd be more open to it, because that could always pivot if I wanted to. But yeah, I'm not getting there personally. MJ thinks Giannis is mad at losing Middleton. Maybe, it's been, one of his guys. I do think that Giannis was pretty active, though, vocally, from what I've heard from GMs, that he really wanted them to make some moves. So maybe getting a little bit younger, a little bit healthier with the Kuzma, a little bit more energy is not a bad thing. I do think Middleton's a player I would want more on a championship team than Kuzma, but Kuzma has the ability, if you put him into the role of third, really fourth scorer for them when Portis is in the game, I think that's really the right role for him. So I do like Kuzma in the role he's going to play, but I also like Middleton. He's just been unhealthy and can't play minutes for years. So it's kind of felt bad for him a little bit. Jumping over to FanDuel just to take a look at the differences. And as MJ mentioned, to get the likes up, guys, we're doing these videos for free. I will stop doing videos I'll just stop, and I'll start doing only for members if we don't get more of these likes, because it's frustrating. We get hundreds of people in here, and sometimes in 20 likes, 15 likes, just click the like button. Do us a favor. We're doing these for free. All right. Look, so it's still Podziemski. I am still gonna go out and I just don't feel like that I want to. if I end up with some Looney, that's fine. I don't need to go crazy. I'm going to drop his projection a little bit. I feel like it's a little aggressive. As I mentioned, I will drop Dorian Finney-Smith's projection a tiny bit, although he is a later game, so it's sort of talking out of both sides of my mouth. Totally fine with everyone else here. Other big differences, I think Jeremy Grant makes more sense as a play just because of the fitting over here. I did mention, you know the other guys who I was going to bump up no matter what. So yeah, it's actually fairly similar. LeBron's more playable, I think, he's playable on both sides, but LeBron is definitely more of a play on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings tonight, just because it's easier to get to him. Obviously, no AD, no Luka yet, so I think that makes a lot of sense. And I feel pretty good about this. So just going through some of the overs and unders, I think I'll be overweight Podziemski and Hield, but I think they'll be higher owned than this. Podziemski especially. I'm not Hield. We'll wait to see who's playing for Golden State before I decide what I'm going to do there. LeBron, yeah, I'll probably be a little overweight, underweight Finney-Smith. Probably with the field on Eason, probably a little bit underweight Draymond. Tends to project better than he produces, just dropping him a tiny bit, nothing crazy. Kamara, I'll probably be underweight. Banchero, I'll probably be with the field, maybe a little bit overweight, but I still worry about that game staying close. So it probably won't be my big buy-ins. Jeremy Grant, as I mentioned, makes more sense over here. Monk, I'll probably be a little bit underweight. Cole Anthony, probably be a little bit underweight. Austin Reeves, probably be overweight and actually want to bump his projection up to. I feel like being a little bit aggressive with Reeves tonight. I like him tonight. So make him up to 40 and see what we get. Then we've got Pritchard. Again, I'll be overweight that play. Probably be with the field on Harden. Probably underweight Levine. Probably underweight Simons. Overweight Braun. Underweight. Still don't know what I'm going to do about Nas. 7K, I don't think I need to do it. So maybe with the field in the lottery, but probably not playing on my high buy-ins. And then I did bump up Anthony Edwards, as I mentioned earlier. I also bumped up Amen Thompson and Kyrie Irving. And yeah, that seems about right. And I like the bumping down of Looney because I just feel like there's a lot of ways that could go at the big there, and you don't really need to play big against LA. So I'm not sure where Looney stands. He occasionally will pop in with a really big game, but overall, I'm okay with being a little bit underweight that. All right. Any questions or thoughts that we want to get to before I get out of here? I'm going to rerun my builds, but I don't want to go through every exposure that I'm getting with everybody. I'll save that for the people who are paying the premium, just because I do think that there is a real value in it, and giving everything away for free. Well, we give away a lot for free as it is, so I do want to wait to get into it with our subs. Franz Wagner, nothing is making me play Franz tonight. I'm not going to cross him off my list, but I'm not interested in Franz. I'm not trying to go out of my way to get Franz at all. I really worry about Orlando keeping this game close. I don't know who's playing entirely for Denver yet. That's the only problem. And even Franz getting some ownership. I love Franz as a player. Everybody knows I love Franz and Paolo. But back-to-back from Portland to Denver, everybody knows the second end of the back-to-back in Denver is the most difficult back-to-back there is. Going to Utah, very similar, but those are really, really tough places to have a chance when you're playing a back-to-back and you're traveling and you have to go to Denver. So I'm going to say real quickly just a couple of trade deadline takes, and you guys can pop in questions if you want to with regard to this slate. But I really think, obviously, the Lakers won the trade deadline. I don't know how you could do anything much better. For some reason, my NBA Twitter feed is not working. What is happening with this? That is really weird. I'm going to have to get on the phone really quickly after this and figure out why that's happening. Because I need the updates to keep what's going. I think the Lakers did great. I really like what Cleveland did, even though I know they got some scrutiny for it. Those were my two favorite ones. Is Najee Marshall in play? Absolutely, Jimmy. I didn't get to a ton of him, but I do think he's totally in play. I would not feel bad about having a decent amount of Najee Marshall. And also, Boston plays fast. He can thrive in some of those up-paced games. So I kind of like the Najee Marshall idea. I would like to figure out what is happening and why I'm not able to. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Why did it drop? Something scary there. We just got word in Luka's targeting Monday for the Lakers debut. Okay, Luka Monday. I might have to try and figure out if I can go to that game. Day after the Super Bowl, we got Luca. Who knows? Maybe we win something else. Did Scotty just make another eagle? I guess he did. Well, after falling, looking shaky, Scotty's right back into doing Scotty things. That's the golf. I'm not doing great in this start. I had I don't know. We'll see. It's a long ways to go. Obviously, it doesn't really matter how you're doing, but it'd be nice if you had some of the guys who were really showing out. I've got some of them, but not enough of the exact right plays. I'm way over the field on Wyndham Clark. That's good. I'm way over the field on Kitayama. I mean, he's not amazing, but it's a good start. Both Højgaards I'm over the field on. That's good. So yeah, there's some good stuff, but I'm also over the field on guys like Max Homa. I'm over the field on guys like Bo Hostler, but not to a crazy extent. So yeah, a lot of ways, long ways to go. I don't have enough Akshay. I don't have enough Taylor Moore, which is really annoying. I actually have more than the field of Taylor Moore, but it's annoying because everybody knows me. I play tons of Taylor Moore. I've been ready for this guy to break out for feels like 5 years. Halliburton or Harden without salary? Harden. Good question, but I don't think. Look, it may just happen to be the night where Halliburton goes off, but it feels like we're just speculating. To be honest, there's nothing that you should ever really. It's not exactly a real toss up between those two guys unless the matchup is prime, and it's a great matchup for the Clippers and a terrible matchup for Indiana. All right, so I'm going to try out something in our Discord. If you're a site member, I'm going to jump on in over there in a few minutes. I'm just going to finish rerunning these builds, and we'll talk through everything over there. Again, I'll post my exact exposures, but you guys will see what I'm doing, and then I'll also probably try and pop in for the late swap because I think the late swaps is really where you're winning an NBA. Making sure to if you agree with the projections, if you know the game, but even just relying on SaberSim gives you a fighting chance because that up to the late swap, taking all the information into account, all the previous ownership, all the projections, all the median range, all the range of outcomes. It's just a huge tool that I made a killing on because I could figure that stuff out when I first started playing, and there was no sites like that. Now there's plenty of things out there. I think we should really take advantage of it. So I really think whether you're a part of us, a part of TrueDFS, a part of SaberSim, really make sure you use the late swaps tool. I do not think you have a realistic chance to be a long-term winner in any way unless you are late swapping an NBA. There's basically no way. So if you think, oh, I got this play right, why didn't I win money? Well, it's really your fault in some ways because you can put an accent, you can make sure you have X amount of whatever player, but the late swapping is really the key. So with that said, guys, good night, good luck, and I'm going to jump on over to the premium Discord channel and get in the voice channel over there. All right.